All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Nerds at Large Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live 2021 post-show discussion. I am one of the Nerds at Large, Jeff Mayo, and with me I have from across the internet, Respawn Aim Fire's Holden DePardo.
Hello, Jeff. Thank you for having me.
Yep, always a pleasure. Have you on. So yeah, we just reacted to Summer Game Fest. If you're watching live, you might have just seen that happen. We got that video of a reaction if you want to see it. See what we thought of Elden Ring in the moment. Though it's one of those things where since we knew it was coming, we just sat there in silence and in awe. So
Also, it's just momentous that we finally got to see that.
yes.
It's great.
So I say we started this off with going on how we felt overall about the show. And then, we can kind of go one by one, talk about highlights and everything. We'll start with the big guy when we do that. But Holden, what do you think of the show overall?
Overall, I mean, I thought it was a good event. There was announcements kind of throughout that I was looking forward to in terms of playing the game. I mean, I don't go into this with super high expectations to begin with. I kind of figured you'd see a pretty big range of Elden Ring, which you knew about, and then smaller titles as well. And that's basically what it was. And I thought it was good at what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this show really shows where the kind of games that Geoff Keighley likes to normally get with these kind of things, which is the really big games as a service games, or he really focused on the big games, service games, and then some interesting looking indie titles with some bigger name stuff kind of sprinkled in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when, oh, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. You're good.
Oh, I was saying, especially compared to the Game Awards where he's all by himself. With this, a lot of the other big publishers have their own shows coming up in the next couple days.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I think I didn't have huge expectations, was that I knew E3 was coming up. We know E3 is coming up, and that's going to be where the really, really big stuff is. But still, we had like Solar Ash, which I was excited to see, stuff like that.
Yeah. And absolutely the big one, we can just go straight into it, Holden. Let's talk about Elden Ring.
Yeah, I think it's the main thing to talk about here is Elden Ring.
Definitely.
Everything else looks good. Elden Ring looks fantastic. I knew they weren't going to show everything. I wasn't expecting like a full-on gameplay reveal, but they showed a lot of the world, and that's kind of what I was most looking forward to seeing in general. And it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to explore. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it looks really good. This is probably, I mean, just because George R.R. Martin's involvement in it and just kind of what we've heard, the rumblings of how it compares to other From Software games got me more interested. But seeing this trailer and seeing exactly what that meant, and even from like a world design standpoint and especially enemy design, this probably might be the most interested I've definitely been in a FromSoft game. I might make this my first one.
Absolutely. It also looks like it has a lot of similarities to the combat in Dark Souls 3, which I liked a lot, but it seems like it's taking it to a different level too. Like there's a lot of things where your character dodged in ways I've never seen before, so it looks like it'll have a faster pace to it, which I think might make it a better game to start off with.
Yeah,
because some of the games have kind of restrictive movement mechanics just to kind of keep things tense throughout. This looks like it's much more varied, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I'll go over this real quick. If you're watching the video of it, if you're confused, I have Day of the Dead on, which happened right afterwards. Just kind of have it on, just in case maybe something very interesting happens that we can kind of talk about just real quick. But so yeah, look very Elden Ring, very interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and say it probably lived up to the hype to people based off this trailer. Just quickly looking at Twitter. It's actually the big one. And I think another big surprise is it's got a release date pretty decently soon, January 21st, 2022.
Yeah.
And
like I was telling you earlier, perfect time too, because there's not going to be a lot of games coming out around that time, most likely.
Yeah.
And I would like to just dedicate to this. And like earlier, we had like in like April, May, we had Returnal, We had Mass Effect Legendary Edition
Resident
and Village
Evil.
all coming at the same time. Yeah, and it just like all overlapped. Like I don't want that for Elden Ring, and that time frame makes me feel like we're probably not going to have a lot of overlap, which is good.
We got Pokemon Legends Arceus right now, and or at least for like me and you, I know that's not like the biggest overlap between fan bases. That's very different games, but
Yeah, and for me though, it's an easy choice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm watching the trailer just on silent right now, just to like marvel at it.
So I know there's one scene in there. I'm curious, since you have more experience with FromSoft games than I do, obviously. There was one scene. There was a lot of enemies kind of around the player character. Are there times in there where you get that many? So you're kind of going into maybe the combat might be more like fast paced or anything.
Not very often. I can think in Bloodborne, there was one time where a bunch of kind of smaller grunts come after you, but it's not very common to see that. They usually come in small packs.
Okay. Yeah. Well, staying on the release date real quick. What do you think the odds are it gets delayed?
Honestly, about 0. I really think that's it.
Okay.
I think that they wouldn't have announced a release unless they're really firm about it, considering the hype for this. I don't really recall From really delaying their games ever. Like once they announce a release date, they pretty much stick to it. But also, like, it's been a long time. I mean, these guys are actually very prolific. They release games constantly. Like, it was Bloodborne was 2015, then 2016 was Dark Souls 3. 2 years later was Sekiro. They release games very, very frequently. So I feel like it's been such a long time since Sekiro at this point that it'll come at that time.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not as confident as you. I feel like there is something to the fact that they did put a firm date on it. I feel like at this point, people that are willing to put the date that far out are decently confident. But just COVID is still a thing, especially in Japan. There, unforeseen stuff could happen, but that could be really far along and just in the polishing stages for all we know. So,
it's hard to say. I thought the game was going to come out last year.
Okay.
I was pretty convinced of it. So I don't know, that might be influencing my thoughts here.
Yeah, I know some people were, leading up to this very optimistic every single time there was a showcase about Elden Ring being there. Because, you're mentioning FromSoft and the way they release games. Yes, they normally do announce/tease games, and it comes out pretty shortly after a roll. This is probably the longest that I'm aware of between announcement and release. But you got to think, well, Bamco's publishing it. I know they do Dark Souls, but, sometimes, I mean, Tales was announced at the same time, and this is now also finally coming out. Is another Bamco game, so FromSoft might not have been involved in that planning as much.
I'm looking at their release cadence right now, and like, there's actually a point where like every year they were releasing a game.
Yeah, so
it's gonna happen. It's gonna make it. Don't bring me down, Geoff.
I'm sorry. Well, I said I'm gonna have to bring you down one more time. Actually, I'm getting this from your co-moderator, Chad. On Twitter.
What is he saying?
He just retweeted the trailer saying he's pumped, but he's also saying it's a shame it won't be, since it's cross-gen, that it may not be able to fully take advantage of the power of the PS5 and stuff like Demon's Souls did.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me, I'm not bummed about that, only because it was announced so long ago. I always figured to be coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I am bummed about the God of War situation for sure. That hadn't been like promised as a current gen game.
Yeah, I look at those kind of differently. Yeah, I mean, if you asked me before, I would have guessed it. Yeah, this was current gen, or I say current gen. It's now last gen. Now PS5 is current gen.
I know. I keep doing that too.
Well, it doesn't help when someone like Keighley is like, it's coming to current gen and next gen. It's like, it's coming to PS6.
Yeah, PS6. Wow, man. When's it coming out? 2027.
But no, this trailer is really dang good. I think we'll see. I might be in for this one.
Yeah, I mean, do you usually play like the kind of difficult kind of games like that?
Not
And I
really,
didn't say
no.
Souls was like because you haven't played those before, but
No,
okay.
no, I mean the closest, like I'll play like a Celeste every once in a while. But those well, the difficult ones I normally play are usually platformers. I usually
see.
don't
Okay,
do the
gotcha.
combat ones because I'm usually I don't know, but I feel like I at least got to give one of these a try at some point. And I'm looking at
It's worth
potentially
it,
during
yeah.
the Final Fantasy Origins, which I know is going to be probably more beginner friendly compared to Elden Ring, but
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing with these games is always just patience.
mhm,
I mean, I can't speak to Elden Ring, obviously. It could
yeah.
be a different approach. Like with Bloodborne, I was in the first level of Bloodborne for 6 hours before the game kind of clicked for me
Mhm.
and I started to get it. And once you have that click moment, it becomes easier. The real difficulty just comes from the learning the game initially. Like once I beat Bloodborne, I got into Dark Souls 3 pretty easily. Sekiro was a little bit different, but that's just a different style of game. But once that game clicked for me,
Yeah.
I was able to play through it like 6 times in a row pretty quickly because it's so fast paced. You can blow through it really fast if you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Um, and so I feel like Elden Ring will probably be the same. So just like stick with it in the beginning and you'll be good.
Mhm. Well, I guess the quote unquote good news is as far as the release date, assuming it and Pokemon Legends come out the same day, I'm the opposite where Pokemon Legends is going to be my priority because, well, I'm the Pokemon guy. I got a Pokemon open world, whatever. I got to take that takes top priority. So I can at least see impressions and stuff of Elden Ring, where it's at and all that kind of stuff before doing it. I mean, that's a smart
Also,
thing to do anyway.
it'll be easier probably to play it later on because you can kind of rely on online resources, people who
True.
have kind of gone
Yeah.
through it, figured out the best approaches, all that. Because the community is very, very open and very vocal
Mhm.
online. There'll be lots of like, tips and tricks out there, but obviously day one, probably not.
Yeah. All right. And that is Elden Ring. All right.
Um,
Okay. Some of these we'll talk about longer than others, but I figured I just I did this for most conferences we watch, just kind of on our podcast document, just type notes of every game. Figured go down the list and see where the discussion takes us. We started off with a pretty big announcement. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming early next year.
yeah, that looks. I mean, I'm not a big Borderlands person, but I think for Borderlands fans, that looks great.
Yeah, and immediately, like, I knew this was kind of coming because it leaked and all that, and I think they were hinting at it being here. But it made me hesitate. Like, is this Borderlands? Ourselves, obviously, but they even mentioned it was like more of a fantasy thing. And then once the gun came, I was like, oh, okay, that's where it's going.
Yeah, we kind of go back and forth. Like, this is clearly the art style of Borderlands, but there's no guns. And then, like, the sword turned into a gun. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is very much in that vein. But it looks like it's a different world altogether, too, which, is unique.
I think Ashley Burch said it was based off like a DLC from 2. So,
oh, interesting.
And they, Ashley Burch is in there, which, she's big for a video game voice actress. But then you got, like, they said Will Arnett and Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes. Going all in on that. So yeah, pretty cool. SNK Metal Slugs Tactics. Yeah. Metal Slugs is back, baby. That's one of those I expect got some people very excited. Until they realized it was a tactics game.
Yeah, for the fans of that franchise, I guess that's cool. But I have no history with Metal Slug, so I have no like. It looks fun.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I like tactics games, but we're getting more of those these days. So yeah, and like you, I don't really have much of attachment to the Metal Slugs. And then we got something that I think was very long. Maybe. We got a little conversation between Geoff and Kojima.
Oh my gosh, what was that?
I don't know. I was questioning through that whole thing. It's like, will we actually get an announcement for this out of this? We did. We got Death Stranding Director's Cut, which is coming to PS5. I think it's PS5 exclusive, maybe.
I'm gonna look it up and see.
But and then they did the bit with the box, which was cute, but it arguably went too long for what it was. Especially coming right after that Kojima conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah, the whole thing was just unnecessary. They could have just been like, "Hi, you're working in a game. Cool, let's see it." It was this whole like long-winded thing about COVID and how it's changed his direction for gaming. But then they showed a game he's already been working on that we already knew about,
Yeah.
and then it's just Sam Fisher getting to a box, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was just so
Yeah.
weird.
And, you know, we were questioning, okay, is this new stuff? Then it went long enough. It's like, okay, this has to be new. Then what would be the point? So, yeah. Jeff Goldblum was there, talked a little bit, made some of the jokes like, oh, I'm quirky. I'm reading off the teleprompter and saying it, like as Jeff Goldblum does. And getting me excited about him potentially announcing Shadow the Hedgehog, because he said Chaos Control, which is very disappointing. But we got Jurassic World Evolution 2. Neat.
Yeah.
Coming later this year. Got a musical performance for Sable, and actually got a release date for it, September 23rd. That game's a long time coming.
Yeah, I really like the art style for that one too, and maybe I'll check that one out on the demos next week.
Yes. I actually got a list of demos once we kind of get to that part of it. Might read off some of them and kind of see what that's all about. Let's see. Got Lost Ark from Amazon Games, an MMO. They also had another one called New World that they talked about. 2 MMOs from Amazon coming later this year. Madness.
Absolute madness.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go for them. One might succeed, but I have trouble seeing how both can succeed when Amazon hasn't really made a name for themselves in the gaming space.
It's a bold move to come out with your first party games for your platform as MMOs.
Yeah. I think that it's Amazon, so they're like, oh, MMOs make a lot of money, so we're going to focus on those. Because I feel like all the games they've announced are like MMO or MMO lights or something. So I don't. They talked about Call of Duty, as they do with these things.
And they showed off a story trailer, which we'll never actually play the story of.
Yes. And yeah. We got some Among Us. The hit game.
A hide and seek. That's a fun idea.
Oh, yeah. I wish they put more of a date on there, but I think it's cool. Yeah, they showed off. They got new roles in there, like sheriff, I think doctor in there, which is cool to mix up the gameplay for people who played it so much. Besides, a new game mode, and this is a new thing, but it's coming in this update, I guess. The parties can be up to 15 people, which is crazy. And a new, tease a new map and all that. So yeah. Then we got Shuhei Yoshida coming out here and being like, "Yo, what up? I'm from PlayStation. Here's some indies."
What do they show again? What do they show again?
I think this is how you say it. Chakaroy is that little dog that has the little paintbrush or whatever. That's really cute. That's coming out tomorrow. I've heard good things about it. I think reviews already out and they're pretty good. Then Salt and Sacrifice, which is from the creators of Salt and Sanctuary. I don't know if it's a sequel. It's that 2D Dark Souls looking game.
That's right, yeah.
And it's co-op, which I'm sure that alone got some people in.
That does look fun, actually. I wanted to play the first one.
Yeah. I've heard great things about Salt and Sanctuary, so yeah, I bet I have to imagine this game is going to do very well. Easy. Okay, hold on. We can say this kind of stuff because we're in separate leagues. Easy thing to remember for Fantasy Critic come next year.
True.
Easy points. And then we got another look at Solar Ash. Didn't really get a new thing about release date, but got a, I guess, look at a boss fight. Look very Shadow of the Colossus-y. Yeah. Got a Chivalry 2 launch trailer. Game's out. So we had to get a trailer for it.
That game does look pretty good, actually. I was knocking it when you were first looking at it, but I would totally play that.
Oh, no, I understand, yeah, your general thing, because when you were knocking it, it was during the CG stuff, but once it got to like the actual gameplay, you seemed to turn around pretty quick.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I agree. I was kind of like, okay. Then I saw the Easy Allies play. I'm like, okay, this actually does look a lot of fun, because, yeah, it's like a 32v32 thing, I think. And, yeah, all players, and it's just like a war and all that. It's just a bunch of chaos. And you just throw about anything at each other. Like, you cut off someone's head, you just throw it at their friends. Normal stuff.
Yeah, totally normal. 100%.
Yep. I know there's something that once Darby sees might be on the list, might be a little excited. Valorant. It was nothing. We're getting like season 3 or whatever, and they just showed a robot's head, which will be the new playable character, but it's literally nothing right now.
Yeah, I went into that saying, I don't really know much about Valorant, and I left going, I don't know much about Valorant.
It's a really fun game, but yeah, that trailer does nothing.
Yeah.
There are some of these, I'll mention it here, because these are games that especially Darby and our friend Alex and I dabble with really enjoy. Well, I like Overwatch 2 more than Valorant, but those games do nothing if you're not already a fan of them. And they were the most nothing announcements, because Valorant was just a tease of a robot's head. And Overwatch 2 were literally just new skins for characters we can already play as. Like, and it was just, honestly, the smart thing would have been, I mentioned it to you before, I think. They announced crossplay yesterday. They should have saved that for here.
Yeah, totally. That would have been a much bigger thing to announce.
Yeah, or at least mention it here, because I don't think they did. And that announcement is huge. I know it's not technically Overwatch 2 announcement, but still. That is the big thing that came out of Overwatch the last couple of days.
Which company did Blizzard Activision Blizzard. Okay, I don't think Activision's doing a show at E3, right?
No, yeah, E3, their name's not even attached to it. They were only attached to Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, so we're not going to hear about that for a little while then. Like, we shouldn't expect anything for next week. So yeah, you're right. It's especially strange then to do like crossplay earlier and then not a whole lot during the actual event.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Activision Blizzard's thing on here, Summer Games Fest, I think literally was just to show that trailer for Call of Duty and this Overwatch thing. Might have been some other Activision Blizzard game on here I'm blanking on, but I don't think so. So 2 Point Camp, 2 Point Camp is coming out next year. Looks neat. More cartoony Sims. Can make a giant pizza. It's not to love. Escape from Tarkov. I pronounced that wrong.
Oh, that first-person shooter?
Yeah, which we were kind of confused about. Like, maybe it's like I think you were right when you were saying it there as multiplayer, but I'm honestly not 100% sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked more like we were in arena maps than we were in this.
Yeah, it is a multiplayer
corridor
game.
Or something like that. It is okay, yeah.
Oh wait, so this game came out in 2017. It was just like I guess a new area.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I was not clear what was happening there at all.
Yeah, I will say for that thing, because it's a generic military shooter thing. That thing went on a little long for that.
It did, yeah.
For what it was.
Especially since it was just the same things over and over again. We were just looking at a shot of something being shot, like a gun being shot over and over again. Yeah, I guess it might seem more unique to me since I don't really play those things, but like a military shooter looking thing, kind of more residential areas, like actually going into the buildings and apartments and stuff is pretty cool, but not enough for how much footage they showed. Yeah, totally. Geoff mentioned it. Last year, he announced Avatar: The Last Airbender character is coming to Smite. And naturally, you follow that up with Stranger Things.
The crossover
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
wanted.
Stranger Things is just everywhere now, and
It
things it
is.
just does not belong in at all.
What's that game? Dead by Daylight, I think it was just added to recently or announced for. Or it may have been there for a little bit. I can't remember.
That one makes more sense.
It does. It's kind of more going with Stranger Things is everywhere right now. It's like, okay, we'll put it in anything. And then the announcement, one of the announcements, which so much happened, I don't even know all the details for it. Prime Matter, a new publisher, which I think they actually are like a spinoff of whatever media. Having like Payday 3 and stuff on it. The game looked interesting, but there were so many of them, and they didn't really go into too much detail, so I'm not sure what any of them actually were. And
yeah, and I got confused because I'm like, wait, was that part of the same game I just saw earlier? And I was getting very confused.
I agree. There are some like, okay, this is the game from before. It's like, wait, but is this the same game as that one? I got really confused.
But none of them looked bad. They all looked like, even if I didn't want to play it necessarily, looked like a high quality game.
Mm-hmm. And what was I about to say? Oh yeah, I saw Easy Allies had a preview thing for it. So there might be more information already quickly out there for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
okay.
Cool. Let me see. Moving on, the Anacrusis, that sci-fi space cartoony looking Left 4 Dead like game, coming out later this year on Game Pass and PC and Xbox.
Oh right. I'm like, what was that one again? That's right. Yeah. Like the space aliens on the abandoned ship. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Look neat.
Yeah, looked all right.
Yeah, might see if my friends are interested in it because, again, Game Pass, so not really a commitment. So I'm all for.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Naturally, we can't have a Geoff Keighley thing without a Rocket League crossover.
Or a Fast and the Furious related
announcement. If you can't get Vin Diesel, just get anything Fast and Furious related. I guess Vin Diesel's more of a Game Awards thing.
Yeah, he doesn't just do Summer Games Fest. He goes for the big shows only.
Yeah. Vin Diesel's a very busy man.
Very busy. He's got dinosaurs to fight now.
Yep. Oh, yeah, neat. Saw a little bit of Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunter, the multiplayer game. Weird seeing this when, Masquerade Bloodlines or whatever 2, nowhere in sight. I know they had a lot of issues, but it's just kind of weird in general.
I've not played one of those games before.
I haven't, but what they showed for Bloodline the Masquerade or whatever 2 looked very interesting. And then it just had a lot of developer problems to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm probably not going to touch this game because I'm worried about its quality. Because literally, like, the game director, main game writer, or whatever, all left in a short period of time.
Ooh, that's not good.
No. I think they actually... Oh, wait, I think they announced earlier this year that they're actually giving it to a brand new studio as well.
That's definitely not a good sign.
No. Terrible sign, in fact. Dark Pictures anthology House of Ashes. Me and you both mentioned during the stream we really like /Love Until Dawn. You and Chad said you guys played Man of Medan, right? Yeah. Darby and I got around to that. We have it, but yeah, haven't messed with any of them. It sounds like, unfortunately, they haven't been able to capture the magic of Until Dawn yet with these games.
Yeah. Like, they're not bad. They're not terrible or anything. They're just like they just don't have that same spark as Until Dawn.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if the fact that they're releasing these in so quickly is affecting them. Like, they want to go for that gimmick.
Yeah, well, especially because they're going slower than I had thought, because they announced 8 of these things at once. And so they were coming out over the course of like 4 years. So we need 2 per year.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like they pulled back and it's still too fast. It's like they just need to do one big game, I think.
Yeah. But like I said during the reaction, I do find it interesting that this one is more like it's a generic looking desert thing with the fact it's soldiers and all that kind of stuff. I think is a pretty neat, I guess, twist on it compared to the other games. Some people that are actually trained in combat, even if they do get destroyed like amateurs. And obviously the biggest game of the show and the biggest Bamco game of the show, sorry Elden Ring, Tales of Arise. I got a new look at that. Nothing too crazy because we got the release date and all that, but we got to see the final 2 party members. And game looks purty. So I'm excited to, a little later on, watch that trailer once or twice more to kind of look and see, okay, what exactly is going on here. But I am excited. Coming out in September. Let's go.
Let's go.
Go. Sky from that game company.
Oh yeah, that was there.
Coming out later this month. I'm looking at the day of the dev stream. I have no idea what's going on right now, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea either. It's super chaotic on stream.
Yeah. Interesting. Planet of Lana, coming out next year.
Oh, is it the side scroller with the good art style?
Yes, I need to watch that trailer again because I think I was looking at chat or something when that was that was going on. So I need to look at that one again. Looks interesting for sure.
It was a very repetitive trailer. If you caught a few glimpses of it, I think you got the gist of it.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see. D&D Dark Alliance. Coming out later this month. I think you mentioned Chad was very excited for this one, right?
Very excited, yeah.
Okay. I know he was into what's that game that I'm blanking on it. That game that just got re-released. Dark Alliance 2.
Oh, Diablo.
Yeah.
Dark Alliance 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Diablo 2 also is getting re-released. He's also very excited for that one.
I remember because Darby also has nostalgia for Dark Alliance 2. Chad did too. He mentioned that. So that's but in this game kind of reminds me of that. It's different, but more newer and all that, but reminds me of that. I didn't realize it was on Game Pass, so I don't know if Darby knows about that. So we might have to give that a shot. And yeah, assuming there's online multiplayer, so may see if Chad gets in and would want to join us, or if he doesn't already have people to play with. Assuming it's multiplayer.
He definitely wants to play it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's multiplayer. Yeah, pretty sure it is.
It has to be. Yeah. Paladins Genlock. I don't have anything to say with that. If you don't. Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Game of the year.
Yes. I don't think this was a good trailer for that game.
No. Not at all.
The story looks cute and the character designs are all good and all that. I don't think the story is going to be like the greatest thing ever. Just kind of a nice, jolly, JRPG kid-friendly story or whatever. But you had the reaction of someone who didn't really know what this was. Oh, is this just Monster Hunter with story? And and that's a fair assumption because they didn't actually show the gameplay of this game.
No, and in fact, it very much just looks like it's cutscenes and also the same gameplay for Monster Hunter. Like that's what I got from that trailer.
Yeah.
So when you said it was turn-based, I'm like, no, like there's no way that I would be able to infer that from this trailer.
Yeah. So they need to do better with that, especially when they've shown a lot of trailers for this game. You might see on Twitter every single time you might have seen on Twitter about Monster Hunter Rise updates. Monster Hunter Stories also got a new trailer then over the last couple months. This is like this game's fifth trailer. And the other ones have shown gameplay, but I think this one needed to kind of show that too for people who have not seen it.
I just saw on Twitter that apparently Elden Ring's website has more details on the game.
Well, if you want to, you can pull that up, and then we can end this with going over said details. Was there anything of interest?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to look through right now, but I'm still here. I'm just letting you know that I am.
You are good, my dude. Let's see here. Let's see. We got that Weezer performance for Wave Break.
that was the most important announcement of the event of the entire thing. Was Weezer's performance. It was the best thing there.
Mm-hmm. I think Ray Braid looks fun. But based on what they showed, like it kind of looks like Rave Race, I guess, without the racing. I guess maybe I don't know exactly what it all has. Mixed with
like jet skis, but it didn't have jet skis sometimes.
Yeah, it's like
the airboats, what they're called.
Yeah, kind of like Tony Hawk, Pro Skater mixed with jet skis, with which and cute animals, which sounds appealing. But I don't know how good it actually is. Comes out tomorrow. Endless Dungeon. Do you remember
another game where I love the art style of that? It looks fantastic. I don't know if I'll play it, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah, so let's see. Like I said, yeah, it was at the Game Awards, but yeah, I really have paying attention to it, to be honest. I can't remember why, but yeah, it didn't look like it showed that much new. Maybe a little more gameplay than the previous trailer. Then naturally, Sony's supposed to be part of Summer Game Fest, so like most people probably figured, because we can't have nice things, the Sony first party part of this thing is talking about Ratchet, what comes out tomorrow. And showing a little bit of new footage, but just saying, hey, they're having a launch stream later. Cool.
I just want to play that game. I don't need to see anything else from it. I cannot wait to get that.
Agreed. Darby ordered it. Since he's usually my PS5, it is his job to get the game. So yeah. That should be getting here tomorrow, if not this weekend. Probably not gonna be able to play it till later this weekend, but I am excited. Far Cry 6. Not really any new footage, just interview with guy whose name I always forget. Love him as an actor.
His name is Gus. He runs a chicken place called Pollos Hermanos.
Yes, you're correct. I'm terrible with names, Sam. Yeah, his name's a little much for me to remember, unfortunately. But yeah, love him as an actor. One of those awkward actor interview things, which is like,
100%.
We wanted Far Cry 6 to be here, and this is the best we could get.
Oh, I was just confused with his rambling. He's trying to say his character is actually a good person, even though he's a dictator. Like, I was
but
really
he loves his country, so how can he be bad?
Exactly. Anyone who loves their country is justified in their actions.
Exactly. You're getting it, Holden. Naturally, because this is a Geoff Keighley thing, we got to have Fall Guys. We just have to.
Shoehorned into the end, too. It was so random.
Yeah. But we got a cool Nier Automata costume announcement.
Yeah.
I just kind of like how Fall Guys like, yeah, we'll take any crossover we can get. Let's have fun with it,
Mm-hmm.
I'll see, maybe I have enough crowns or whatever to get me to be my sexy android bean. I guess new Genshin Impact character announced. Neat. Got a new studio announcement. Deviation Game Studios, which I believe he said it features a bunch of former Call of Duty devs.
Yeah, and the partnership with PlayStation.
Yeah, that's right. It's gonna be PlayStation Studios game, I guess, the way they're going to brand it. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, they kind of talked around it a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that's the impression I got too. But also, they're definitely making a multiplayer game, considering the developers they seem to have brought on board. Seems very multiplayer focused. So that's kind of part of what Herman Hulse was talking about recently about, trying to get more multiplayer games in Sony's first party catalog. It's part of that venture, I guess.
Yeah, when this was announced, I was confused because I know they announced not too far back earlier this year about another new studio that's going to make a multiplayer game. I was questioning, was this one at first? I don't think it is. It's just the way they were talking. Might be like former Destiny devs or something.
That makes sense too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like Sony is, having their own studios work on the first party stuff, but then having these outsourced studios or whatever making multiplayer stuff exclusive to them, which, smart move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sounds like it's very early on, so it may not be like another 2-3 years before we actually see this game. So
I'm honestly surprised they even announced it, considering it's new studio with no background to look at, and it's gonna be years before we hear anything.
Yep. So I'm gonna surely forget about this by the time it comes out. So yeah. Back for Blood. Gotta look at a new boss. We're getting a beta August 5th if you have pre-ordered the game. So neat. Gonna get a better look this upcoming, when is it? Sunday, I believe. Warner Brothers thing. Oh yeah, how lame is it that Warner Brothers is scheduled for Sunday and it's only Back for Blood? I don't even think it's technically. I don't even think it's really their game, like their IP. They're just publishing it.
Yeah, what do they really have to show off at this point? Because Suicide Squad is probably still far off.
They got Gotham Knights, Hogwarts
next year.
Hogwarts,
but those
Legacy.
2 games are coming until next year. So what are they gonna even show at this point?
Oh yeah, well, one of the big ones that people thought was potentially going to happen, I thought it might have your chance of being here, is NetherRealm's next game, which is rumored to be Marvel related.
That's right.
It's like I was like, not 100% positive, but I've had a pretty good feeling it was going to be here. I mean, yeah, I guess it could potentially be somewhere else, like maybe Microsoft's. I don't know, but I had a better feeling about being here.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ed Boon. Was Ed Boon the head of Neversoft? I'm pretty sure.
NetherRealm, yeah.
NetherRealm, sorry. He tweeted out something really suggestive about that Marvel game.
Oh yeah, he's been teasing it to the point where, like, if I just heard rumors of that, I would have just like, that'd be cool, but nah. But then Ed Boon's kind of been going into it, and he's a troll, so it could just be him trolling. But the way he's been doing it's like made me think, okay, this is actually real. Now, if it's Marvel related, the dream is it's going to be Marvel versus DC. That's what I want.
I've heard that would be super, super cool to see.
I want it
even
so
as someone
bad.
who's not like into Marvel and DC like that heavily, or just seen the movies. Even I can recognize that would be a really cool combo to see.
Oh yeah, I would be pumped because, I love the Marvel like MCU stuff, and going to the comics some, but I'm a much bigger DC fan as a whole with the general thing. So having the both crossover would be fantastic. Roster could be a little boring because it'd probably just be all the big names, but even that would be cool just seeing. I mean, Batman fighting Wolverine. Come on. That alone prints money. Okay, let's see. We got this Geoff announcing the Steam Next Fest and the Idea Xbox, both happening next week. We didn't get too much information on the Steam Next Fest, but we did get get to know a little bit about the ID at Xbox and a couple games coming to that. Let's see. I have the page up. Okay. Looks like it's going to be the actual Xbox only and not on PC, it looks like. So I'll have to pull out my good old Xbox for this, but Sable and Tunic are going to be 2 of the games on there, and I want to definitely try out both of them.
Absolutely. Tunic for sure for me. Yeah. I'm very excited to try that out.
Yeah. Those 2 games for me are 100% I'm going to try. And they're going to be over 40 of them. So there's probably going to be some other interesting looking games there. Something that's fun that Darby and I've done before, I wouldn't mind if we had time to do it again with these, is I downloaded a bunch of demos and we just tried them out, like a little more than half a dozen of them on stream. It was a fun time. Let's see here. Tribes of Midgard.
Oh yeah, that one. The one where they said Ragnarok, and I'm like, you can't say Ragnarok without people thinking about God of War. Why'd you do that?
Geoff, how could you do that to us? And didn't really get much. Showed off some gameplay coming out next month. Looks pretty neat. And the final thing before Elden Ring was Evil Dead the game, which
Which
I think we both
good.
said doing it like better than we were thinking it would based on that initial trailer.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited for that actually. It seems
Yeah.
like it's very much that Day of the Dead, what is it called? Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, Day or Daylight, Friday the
And
13th style thing.
yeah, it was very much like that, but there's also it doesn't seem like it's just the main villain, like your Freddy Krueger, not Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees. It seems like there's also like zombies around too that you're fighting against, and also that big villain you're trying to run away from.
Yeah,
So it looks like
and
it's gonna be more involved.
yeah. And obviously, as the evil person, you can take over the bigger zombies and some of the other ones. And I imagine you can at least some kind of take over the little ones as well. Trying to see.
Yep.
Let's see. Trying to see real quick. Scroll through Twitter to see if there's anything else interesting information. Well, before we go off, you said there was potentially other Elden Ring information on the website. Have you found said information?
I have. There's not a whole lot here. It's just kind of like a few paragraphs or just kind of marketing stuff and like a little bit about the lore. The world is called The Lands Between.
Okay.
And it's going to, quote, feature vast fantastical landscapes and shadowy complex dungeons that are connected seamlessly. So will be, just kind of the rumors are saying, this big gigantic open world, which you kind of saw in the trailer. It definitely doesn't look like a traditional Dark Souls game in its world layout. And then it also says there's going to be online co-op, which we now know for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Which had existed, obviously, going back to Demon's Souls, but was absent in Sekiro. So
okay.
It very much just feels like a spiritual continuation of Demon's Souls to Dark Souls to Elden Ring. Just now they're taking that next step and making it more open world. So yeah, I'm super pumped about it. There's not a whole lot of new information on the site. It's pretty straightforward.
Are you a fan of Berserk at all?
I've never played Berserk before.
Well, it's a manga series / anime thing.
Oh, okay. Never even heard of it.
Yeah, there's just one enemy that looks like a character from that people are kind of noticing, which makes sense because real talk right now, Souls games would not exist without Berserk. Its influence is all over the art style or whatever for that game.
I hadn't even heard of it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not finished, but the writer for it died about a month back, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah, it is very sad. He has some health problems. So yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, and Geoff Grubb mentioning something that people are wondering about. Why was it here and not an Xbox showcase? Apparently, Bandai Namco turned down a deal to put this trailer into Xbox Showcase. And it has nothing to do with the fact that Xbox Showcase is going to be just Game Pass. I mean, he's not saying it's just Game Pass, but people are wondering. Because they've done that before where every game was going to be on Game Pass. They're wondering
I wonder what deal he made with Jeff Keighley that would make them go, oh no, Microsoft, we can't go to you.
Yeah. I'm going to... I don't know. It could be more than this, but I can see... they look at it, and since Elden Ring is definitely going to be one of the biggest games talked about over these next couple of days, there's no question about it. But compared to if it was going to be talked about Microsoft, because overall, I think we can both agree, Microsoft is going to have probably the bigger announcements as a whole compared to this showcase.
True, yeah.
And at least for the next couple days, the main focus is going to be on Elden Ring. Like, no disrespect to what's happening tomorrow or Ubisoft or Gearbox, but nothing that's going to be shown there is going to come close to Elden Ring hype. Microsoft and Square are going to be the first things that potentially have something that people talk about to a similar extent. So now for the next couple of days, it's all Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it deserves that attention too.
Yeah. So I imagine that has
I'm so excited to finally have seen it though. Oh god, I want to watch the trailer so many times today.
Yeah, I'm probably going to too, but it'll probably be in the form of reactions because those are going to be fun to watch.
Yep.
But no, I'm happy they went ahead and yeah, they showed it. It was a very good showing. Gave some good details on that, and we got that release date. At the very least, if it happens to get delayed, we at least know, hey, worst case scenario, probably early next year. So, all right, Holden, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on and talking about Elden Ring. The Elden Ring show is just fantastic.
Yes. Fun, and for anyone watching this early on before the other showcases, you can expect to see Holden on our other reactions when we react to the very least Xbox Square, which is going to be one very long stream, and he will join us, or planning on joining us for our late Nintendo discussion on Tuesday. So that'll be a lot of fun, and don't you worry, Nerds at Large faithful, Darby will be here for those.
Cannot wait for that Nintendo one. Oh man, it's gonna be great.
I guess it's real quick. What are you expecting from that one?
I think it's time for Zelda. I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh no, next year," but it's been already like over 3 years. They're using the same world, and I think it's time.
It's been over 4 years.
Oh yeah, you're right. 4 years now. It's just so obviously time for that game to come out.
I agree with you. Like I'm of the mindset I would be pretty, kind of decently surprised, not necessarily flabbergasted if Zelda's not there, but I think it is going to be there. I am just not 100% sure, like if it's going to come out this year or next year, and that's just mainly because of COVID. I think they want it this year, but I think just because it sounds like Nintendo got hit harder with COVID, that it just may not make it this year.
Yeah. I feel like if it is shown off at E3, it won't be any later than like spring of next year, because they generally don't talk about games that far in advance anymore. Like Splatoon 3, knowing that's coming out in 2022, that's very rare Nintendo would do that.
Yeah.
And they said
go ahead.
They said earlier in the year that they're going to show Breath of the Wild 2 at some point during the year. There's no way it's going to be any time past E3. Like, it's still going to be there. So like if it's not fall, it'll be spring.
I agree. Yeah. And I guess I've heard mixed things on this. What do you think of the odds of Splatoon 3 being there?
I think very low. I don't think they're going to be there at all.
Okay. I think there's a chance it be there. I mean, especially with Treehouse. Because they got good reception for Splatoon there, and it is coming next year. We don't know what time exactly next year, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Treehouse would be a good place to show it off. Totally. The only games I've really seen them show off heavily at Treehouse have been like their big marquee games of the year. So like when Breath of the Wild came out, they did show that off. When Animal Crossing came out, they showed that off. So they usually do their big marquee games of the year.
Yeah.
Because they had tons of Animal Crossing stuff at E3 last year, and to be fair, that did turn out to be an early next year game.
Yeah, obviously,
so maybe.
Obviously, we're gonna get another Smash character.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can't go to a Nintendo event at this point without getting a new Smash character.
Yeah, and it's been a couple months, so it's time. Let's go.
Who do you think it's gonna be?
It's hard to tell because literally all the characters that have been announced for DLC, well, not literally. Hero, I kind of knew figure was coming, but I didn't figure these characters were coming at the time of their announcement. So I have no way of knowing. I feel like there's a decent chance of Crash.
Yeah, I think that would make sense with like just it's become less about Nintendo franchises and more about just video games as a whole. And you gotta have Crash. Crash is an important character.
Yeah, and I know we got some more. We got the 2 Nintendo characters, so we could get more. But I feel like the ones we get, for the most part, the ones we got like Pyra and Min Min, those are characters that kind of just needed to happen. Like it made sense to get another Xenoblade character at this point. It made sense to get an ARMS character. I don't feel like there really any like obvious Nintendo characters left, for better or worse.
Not ones that introduce. So there's always Geno. People want Geno, but I feel like they would have done Geno at this point.
Geno's already deconfirmed because they did this Mii costume.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So, and I don't
So
think,
no Geno then.
and we got them 2 Square characters already this for DLC. So I'm just of the mindset we're not getting any more, which I hate because I want 2B and Sora and stuff.
Sora would be a cool addition for a lot of people.
Sora is like after Banjo, Sora's is kind of like the one last like, I need this. And that makes sense. Okay. I guess before we go off, one little thing. Let's see. Geoff Keighley posted this. What you may not know, Miyazaki Son of From wanted to place Elden Ring at the end of the show as a reward for fans who watched the whole event, to use the anticipation to lift up, elevate all games throughout the showcase. A true class act.
Oh, that was nice of him.
Yeah. I mean, they could have been like, yeah, go ahead and put it at the beginning of the show. Whatever. But let's get our marketing stuff out early. But yeah, I imagine there are definitely some people that we're just waiting. It's like, okay, just show Elden Ring so I can get out of here. Come on.
Oh, 100%. I would have done that probably.
Would just left me here.
I mean, I would have left you here, but like if I was just watching on my own.
No, I got you.
I would have done that. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's the end for today. We'll be back on Sunday for all the good stuff. I guess before we go for this one, Holden, where can people find you?
I am at Respawn Aim Fire. It's another video game podcast. And yeah, we'll be here talking Nerds at Large, though. So we'll be here for E3.
Let's go. All right.
Let's do it.
All right, everyone. Bye.